Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is D, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ace of Bows and the Spark of Life. And thinking about this card today, I was like, we've already got a lot of creativity and passion down here with the Knight of Bows and the Queen of Bows. All right. But this is more about having a new beginning in action and creativity. Okay, it's not about answering the questions from the court cards or anything like on that idea. It's just that spark of life that kindles the flame, which provides warmth and light on our spiritual journey. It's almost having that renewed fervor, passion on going forward. Yesterday, is very frustrating when you've got all these court people talking to you. But when you finally said, you know what, in a nice, polite, royal way, stop. This is you caught everybody's attention when you did that, okay? And especially the Queen of Bows and the Knight of Stones kind of turned around and said, okay, this person, you are working on your goal, okay? And yes, you're taking the mentorship and you're taking the guidance, but you're doing so on your own journey, okay? You're not letting other people guide you, okay? And by you taking that stand and saying, time out, let me gather my thoughts, standing up for yourself, it just showed them that, hey, you've got the mettle to move forward on your journey, right? And now you can, start building that process of being empowered, okay? Working on your skill, working on your commitment, working on your persistence, right? And that has opened up that opportunity to, grow and become enlightened, all right? And, you've done so through this challenge that's been down here with these court cards, okay? They've challenged you to the point of, you know what? I've had enough of listening to what you've got to say in a polite way. Don't get me wrong, but this is my journey. This is how I want to move along. And they've all sat back and looked at that and said, you're getting it. Okay. Whether this is your journey at work or in a relationship, with a significant other, with siblings, whatever, even in, just, going into the grocery store. This is how, you're going on your spiritual journey. You're saying, this is how I want to live this journey. Okay. This is how I want to go through and continually grow. All right. And the challenge that's been set before you and the opportunity that's been set before you is to, just be there and just go, okay, it's my journey. I'm taking command of it. I'm moving forward. All right. And I'm going to take all the mentorship and listen to whatever's going on, the advice, and I'm going to be, I'm moving forward on my journey. And that's what that spark of life is done. It's not only giving you that renewed vigor, all right, but it showed others that you mean business. You mean business on your journey. And when you open up to the creative flow of the universe and you open up to the passion and to the love and, to the creativity piece of it, you're opening yourself up to that higher level again, right? And you're saying, this is how I want to be. This is how I want to be when I'm moving forward, where everything is not necessarily, everything's going good, but any obstacle that I come across, boom, knock it out of the way. Any challenge, boom, knock it out of the way. And I know I'm going to have these days where I'm going to go down. I know I'm going to have these days where I go up. But I want to have more days up in energy level than down, right? And you get into that creative flow. And once you get into that creative flow, you open up to a deeper awareness. And that awareness is listening to your intuition, listening to your spirit guides, listening to what the universe has to say, right? And, with that deeper awareness, you also start to feel the place within the world, whatever world that is, whether it's, here on earth, within your own family situation, within, a work situation, Whatever struggles and obstacles that, that are there, that you can conquer them. And it kind of gives you that purpose to say, you know what? I'm going to create this garden bed, right? And within this garden bed, I'm going to have, all the seeds of life in there. Some purple, some red, some yellows, some blues. And just, now once they start, you planted them, they start to bloom, that's when you can sit back and actually enjoy it. When you can look at that adventure that you've been on, that spiritual journey, even from the beginning of the year, it's like, wow, the emotional stuff that I went through earlier this year, the thought process of building something brand new, right? And looking where I'm at 4 months later, going into the 5th month of the year. Look how far you've come in 4 months, right? So, as you've moved along, you're prepared to learn new skills. You adapt to a changing environment because you've got that passion within you. You've got that vigor, that spark of life that's driving you forward to learn new things, driving you forward to, get new skills, driving you forward to adapt to a different environment, right? And then, then you can just start to focus and tune your instincts to the task at hand. Once you know exactly where you want to go, and I said that yesterday with that 5 of arrows, frustration, stop, let me gather my thoughts on how I want to move forward. Now I can focus. I can focus on hitting this goat with my one and final arrow. And once I do, guess what? We got meat for a week. And it's just, now you can, like I said, you can focus on whatever it is you want to, grasp. That new project, new relationship, new, whatever. Okay? Because now you've got that spark of life. You've kind of got that itch to say, you know what? I want to learn more. And once I've learned more, now I got the knowledge. Now I want to apply the wisdom that I've learned over the last 4 months to put this, to breathe life into this, which is the Ace of Arrows. Right? And we haven't seen that card probably, a little bit. For this to come along, though, this Ace of Bows and a spark of life, now you can kind of feel like your feet are moving, right? You kind of got that itch to get out there and, let's walk this journey. Let's not sit around at a table talking with people. Let's put our plans into action, right? Let's put things, moving forward. So that's today's card of the day, the Ace of Bows, the spark of life. Hit that, like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for the Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe.